limits of the possible is to venture a little way past them into the impossible.
The earliest speculation about space colonization, or more of a thought about human presence in outer space, can be attributed to Johannes Kepler, who lived in 16th-17th centuries and was a key figure of scientific revolution. It was a time of major reforms. Many intellectuals called for the rejection of superstitions, old beliefs, and restrictions imposed by the state and the church, and for the transformation of society based on scientific knowledge, critical analysis of phenomena, and the exchange of ideas. It was the age where reason was privileged over authority and tradition. It was the age of scientific revolution. Johannes Kepler composed a text called Somnium, the Dream, which is widely regarded as one of the earliest works of proto-science fiction and a foundational text in the intellectual history of space travel and extraterrestrial habitation. The work is structured as a nested dream narrative. In the story, a young man named Duracotus learns astronomy from the famed astronomer Tycho Brahe, and through supernatural ways is transported to the moon, referred to as Levania. While the mechanism of travel relies on demons, reflecting the cultural and literary conventions of the early 17th century, the description of the journey itself is strikingly naturalistic. Kepler anticipates many physical challenges associated with spaceflight: the absence of breathable air, extreme temperature fluctuations, inertia during rapid acceleration, and the need to sedate or protect travelers during transit. These details mark a significant departure from purely fantastical lunar voyages of early literature and demonstrate Kepler's commitment to grounding speculation in emerging scientific knowledge. Much of Somnium functions less as fantasy than a thought experiment in observational astronomy. Observing Earth phases, motions, and apparent size from the Moon serves as an analogical argument for heliocentrism, encouraging readers to reconceptualize Earth as one celestial body among others. In this respect, the text operates as both literary fiction and scientific advocacy. Although Somnium does not propose systematic colonization in the modern sense, it represents an important conceptual precursor to later space settlement thought. By treating the Moon as a physical world governed by the same natural laws as Earth, and by seriously considering human survival beyond Earth, Kepler helped shift extraterrestrial space from the realm of myth to that of scientific possibility. Konstantin Eduardovich Tsiolkovsky occupies a foundational position not only in the technical history of astronautics, but also in the intellectual history of space colonization. While best known for formulating mathematical principles for rocket propulsion, Tsiolkovsky was among the first thinkers to articulate a systematic vision of permanent human settlement beyond Earth. His work transformed extraterrestrial habitation from a speculative fantasy into a problem of engineering, biology, and long-term social organization, thereby establishing the conceptual framework for modern theories of space settlement. In the exploration of cosmic space by means of reaction devices and subsequent essays, Tsiolkovsky argued that rocket technology would enable humanity to escape Earth's gravitational limits and gradually establish a chain of orbital and interplanetary habitats. He proposed that the initial stage of expansion would involve artificial satellites and space stations designed for extended human residence. These structures, he suggested, would incorporate closed ecological systems, including air regeneration, water recycling, greenhouse agriculture, allowing settlers to achieve partial or complete self-sufficiency. Tsiolkovsky also advanced the idea of rotating space habitats to generate artificial gravity through centrifugal force, anticipating later 20th century designs for orbital colonies. He envisioned large settlements constructed from extraterrestrial materials, particularly from asteroids, thereby reducing dependence on Earth-based resources. These habitats, in his view, would expand incrementally in scale, eventually accommodating thousands or millions of inhabitants, and forming a network of independent space communities. Unlike later engineers who framed colonization primarily in economic or strategic terms, Tsiolkovsky grounded his proposals in a broader philosophical and evolutionary perspective. Influenced by Russian cosmism, he regarded the migration of humanity into space as a natural and necessary stage, ensuring the continuity of intelligent life. Tsiolkovsky's integration of propulsion physics with detailed plans for orbital living established the first coherent program for extraterrestrial colonization. Consequently, Tsiolkovsky is best understood not only as a pioneer of rocketry, but also one of the earliest and most influential architects of the modern idea that humanity's future lies in permanent settlement beyond Earth. Bernal, an Irish crystallographer and Marxist intellectual, produced one of the earliest detailed and explicitly social models of space colonization in his work, The World, the Flesh and the Devil. Unlike earlier thinkers who focused primarily on propulsion or exploration, Bernal addressed the problem of how large human populations might permanently live in space. He proposed enormous spherical habitats, later known as Bernal spheres, capable of housing tens of thousands of inhabitants within closed ecological systems. Bernal's colonies would rotate to provide artificial gravity and incorporate agriculture, recycling systems, and self-sustaining life support technologies. He framed space settlement as a solution to terrestrial limits, including overpopulation, resource scarcity, and social stagnation. Importantly, Bernal treated colonization not merely as a technical challenge, but as a social and political project, envisioning new forms of community and governance emerging in extraterrestrial environments. His work constitutes one of the first comprehensive theoretical treatments of space habitats as functioning societies rather than temporary outposts. Werner von Braun was a German-American aerospace engineer who, through technical studies, outlined detailed designs for rotating wheel-shaped base stations intended to serve as permanent bases in Earth orbit. These stations were conceived as laboratories, observatories, and staging areas for lunar and planetary expeditions, marking an important step forward continuous human habitation in space. Von Braun emphasized systematic development, first orbital stations, then lunar bases, and eventually missions to Mars. His approach framed colonization as an incremental technologically staged process, supported by heavy-lift rockets and industrial infrastructure. By combining scientific credibility with mass media outreach, von Braun helped normalize the idea that permanent human presence in space was a realistic objective of near-future engineering rather than speculative fantasy. Gerard K. O'Neill was an American physicist, among the first to articulate a comprehensive, technically and economically grounded theory of large-scale human colonization in space. O'Neill emphasized the design of permanent, free space habitats, capable of supporting millions of inhabitants. His work combined physics, engineering, and socio-economic analysis to create a credible roadmap for human settlement beyond Earth. O'Neill proposed that the most practical way to colonize space was not by building on planetary surfaces, such as the Moon or Mars, but by constructing large rotating habitats in orbit. These cylindrical structures, later called O'Neill cylinders, would rotate to generate artificial gravity through centrifugal force, create Earth-like day-night cycles using mirrored sunlight, and maintain fully closed ecological systems for agriculture, air, and water, while clusters of multiple cylinders could form self-sustaining orbital communities. A distinctive feature of O'Neill's theory was its integration of economic feasibility with engineering design. He proposed using lunar and asteroid materials to construct habitats, thereby minimizing the need to lift heavy materials from Earth, and envisioned solar power satellites to generate energy for both space settlements and terrestrial use. O'Neill also addressed social and demographic aspects of space settlements. He argued that orbital colonies could relieve pressures on Earth's resources and population, while serving as laboratories for new forms of governance, community organization, and technological innovation. O'Neill effectively transformed space colonization from abstract speculation into a field of systematic engineering and policy study. At present, space colonization exists not as a fully realized frontier, but as a mosaic of incremental steps toward that vision. Established space agencies and private enterprises are building the apparatus of this future, advanced habitat prototypes on Earth to simulate Martian conditions, modular life support technologies under development for long-duration missions, and launch systems designed not simply to visit, but to sustain life beyond Earth's cradle. The Artemis program represents one such step, an articulated effort to return humans to the Moon, not merely as transient explorers, but as architects of a persistent off-Earth presence. Artemis missions in the coming decade, including lunar orbital flights and surface operations, will test systems for mobility, resource extraction, and habitation. Simultaneously, commercial actors like SpaceX are pressing towards Mars as the next horizon. With each new iteration of its fully reusable Starship, the dream of transporting people across interplanetary space grows more concrete. Plans articulated by private visionaries envision a settlement with its own energy networks, agriculture, and industry emerging on the Red Planet within decades rather than centuries. In that space between Earth's long shadow and the bright promise of distant horizons, the human imagination continues to write its next chapter, where every launch, habitat test, interplanetary plan is not just an engineering milestone, but a step toward redefining what it means to be home in the universe.